Good afternoon, colleagues. Normally, even if it's the afternoon, I used to say good morning so that I can check whether people are still concentrated or not. But at least I never tested you, but I know I can see you are concentrated. I tried to reshape my title a little bit as also requested by the organizers. So, but I can see because of time, they did not manage to make changes in the program. So anyway, but that is not a big issue. I hope it make a little bit of sense to you, the title itself. So it is Archival Digital Transformation for Ease of Global Client Access. How do we make sure our archive is accessible to the entire world than our own local sphere of influence as archivists? Because I think the users is not only about those closer to our institution or repository, but we may have somebody far away from you who is more interested on your holdings. But how do we make sure that it is easy for those people to access our archive? Yeah, in my introduction, I just want to share with you what the scope of my presentation. I will touch on the introduction and background, and then the next thing will be archival access and use, and then I'll talk to the 10 ICA principles of access to archives. Then I move to digital transformation, and then I will talk to the findings and discussion, and then I'll recommend and also share with you the framework that I'm proposing for the digital transformation of archives so that we ensure that we resolve this distance disruptive. And then from there, I'll give a concluding remark. I think it's very small presentation. In my introduction, I want to start by sharing with you the purpose of my presentation. But before that, I must mention that this is an ongoing project. It's not yet a complete one. So that's why it is here. The other reason is to collect inputs from you. And I'm happy that the session is very interactive, like I saw with the previous presentations. So the study is about investigating archival digital transformation for ease of global client access. And the problem here, which is targeted to be solved, is that access to archive is not easy if it's possible. As like I said, moving from one area to another worldwide, more especially for researchers and authors, more especially historic researchers, it may be very difficult for them to move around when they write history books or sources. Like somebody, even if I'm from South Africa, I may be interested to write about island history or Irish history. And coming here on my own expenses, it may not be easy. Unless if I get funding from somewhere. So, but nowadays, we have a lot of technology that can resolve that we can use to resolve such kind of challenges. And also to make sure that our archival holdings are easily accessible, even if the proximity is a problem. We have technology that can be used to even request for the archival material, technology that can also even control the access to comply with the rules such as copyrights and many other things. Like nowadays, to give a typical example, we have technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data technology, robotics, blockchain. I think many researchers and authors wrote about this. And there are a lot of information, even online, about them. And my study is going to use a literature rather than maybe empirical data from people or from any organization, because I realize there are a lot of information online as well. Instead of duplicating such information, it's better to use it as closely as possible. So it is a qualitative study that is going to be desktop. Still in the introduction, you can agree with me that archive has a large number of users across the world or the universe, but there may be some interpretation that each and every archive is focusing on their own local people. And to my interpretation, that is different, depending on the nature of users. Because like some of the people, like including academics or researchers, mostly you'll find that they exhaust their local sphere and now they want to focus on the whole world, even maybe conducting a comparative study in different fields, whether agriculture, whether social, socio-economic and all those other areas. Geographic proximity is a problem, like I said, and most of our archives, I don't know about other areas, because of proximity, as I said, I could not reach them, but most of the archives that I was exposed to, they are more working manual than electronic. And it can always be difficult for some users or good authors from very far to use their archive and write about them. Because archive is mostly used for research and writing. Because from my experience, I can recall that most of the community members who can use the archive for just interest sake rather than acting on it, they are less frequently visiting the archive. And some of them, they don't even know how to define the concept archive. They don't know what it means, and some of them even pronounce it wrongly. To give an example, some of them, we used to have a school project at home. Some of them, if you ask them whether they know about archive or read the concept archive, they'll tell you it's Archiva or Archive. So you can see that they are still very far from understanding it. But some of the projects like community engagement project, outreach projects by archivists and other people, it can make them get familiar with it and know the importance of it. So distance is a problem. I see, for instance, I gave an example. If somebody is staying at Canada and they want to research about any African country or want to write about them, so it will always be impossible or expensive for them if they're forced to do it. So archival access and use. So you will agree with me that the archive repository house records in different formats, medium, context, and content, but mostly they are in a physical form which is not easy to access. And records housed in archive are mostly of great interest to people all over the world. Like I said, if I talk too much, I'll end up hijacking some of the slides. You can see I'm coming across some of the things that I already touched. But anyway, for the sake of interconnecting the content, I'll go through them. So it is important to ensure that as archivists, we make sure that our archival materials are conveniently accessible. Because materials are used for different reasons, like I said, understanding social, economic, religion, community, personal history, and also to promote some profiles. Some of the people are engaged on biographical writings, and they want to know about certain people. So in order for them to get such information, they don't have to struggle because of traveling and the cost of traveling and energy as well, because moving around is also time. Accessible and usable archival materials make institutions and country in general to be open and transparent. So otherwise, if your materials are hard to access, it's as good as they are protected or they are restricted. So you are restricting it indirectly rather than directly. Because directly it will be a matter of saying, no, you don't have access to this. But indirectly, you know that people from maybe USA is far from Africa, they cannot come here. So that is another interpretation from my presentation. And access to and use of archival materials are somehow regulated for different actions, including reproduction, copying, recreation of the work, public distribution, performing or displaying the work to public, and digital transmission of the work. So even if we are using technology or applying technology, these different rules can be applied in the system to say if people have to access the material request before accessing and comply with this and this and that, those things can be incorporated or embedded into the system, and they can still comply even if they are not accessing physical. So sometimes we are restricted from development because of maybe just a fear factor. Not to say it's not possible, it is possible, but we are afraid that we can commit some law infringement. Like some of the work requires license and written permission. So you can still comply with this even if you apply technology. So still on archival access and use, archivists need to be in charge and take responsibility in ensuring that records of public interest are properly kept safe and from any peril or accessibility. So this is taking us back to what I was talking about, to embed the rules into the system so that you make sure that you provide access to the right person at the right place and time, because people work on time. If your material are not accessible in time, it may affect the users. And International Council on Archives has drawn or developed a guideline for the principles of archive access. And one of them is Principle 6 and 7. And the Principle 6 is talking about archivists promoting the widest possible access to archival materials. So it is talking my language. And the other one is talking about respect for both access and privacy. So this is what I was saying can be also embedded into the system in case we move from manual to electronic. Archivists, it is their duty and responsibility to make sure that they provide access to this vital information in support of efficiency, accountability, transparency in business, and protection of citizens' rights, and keeping of memory for both individuals and collective groups. Groups can be a country, can be organization, and more. So this is very important, and this will promote understanding of context or past to ensure proper transformation today and even tomorrow. Remember, transformation is done by the people, and when you transform, it's like when you are writing, you are researching. You need to have a context. You must know where you are coming and what is the current if you want to guide about the future. So this information will help inform people about what was the situation in the past and currently where are we, and they can think about where we can go and how we can go there. So that is, in short, a background. So community does not need to be denied of access to their information about their ancient life. They must know about the past and how things were as being unfolding. So going forward, archivists, it is very important for us archivists to collaborate. Let us avoid maybe working in our own small corners, in scattered and in silos. So if we collaborate, we can be able to collaborate also with regard to assisting our clients. Just like how the library they are doing. Library have the interlibrary loans. They have many other corporate mode of functions. So archivists can also do the same. They can, maybe through organizations such as ICA, they can initiate a collaborative system where they can share, they can save their clients collaboratively. Because like somebody who want to research about a particular country, may also have interest to do a comparative study about what is happening where and where is better than where. How are things being done? So it is important that this collaboration can make access very easy and simple, because you can set common roles together. You can also collaborate on everything that affect the records in question. Archivists must make sure materials are available and more accessible to public than when they were in the creating organizations. Remember, in the creating organizations, they are more protective than when they are in the archive. Their interest is their business, it's not the public. But with archives, the difference is that we are interested on providing access to the general public. Even if I know with the donors, they can provide the records with restrictions and classification, so that they can restrict you even if you have the records as archivist. So archival institutions need to improve access to materials for users in collaboration with their creators and donors. So which means archivist as somebody who is a guru in the field, they can advise the creators and even the donors. Because remember, some of these donors, they just want to, some of them, they feel they are throwing the records away when they give you. But you can advise them that this record is still important for this and this and these other reasons, so that they can feel the important. Because some of them, they even resist giving you the records as archivists because they don't feel safe if the records or information is in your hands. So if you are collaborating with them, you can be able to closely advise them about the important, because it is also important about the organization rather than the public only. So improvement may also need a budget. This is, I'm talking now about the resources. Remember, applying the new system also need money. It involves money for training, for the software, and many other things. So these are some of the things that people or archivists must think about when they adopt the new system or when they move from manual to electronic. So some of these things I think are already touched. To save my time, let me just jump. So here I have quoted from the archive principles about some of the collaborative elements. The computer system administrators, security personnel, declassification specialists as the creators of records. So I see I have only a few seconds to finish. I thought my presentation is very small, but I'm too much elaborating on the same slides. I think this ones I can just project is the 10 ICA principles on access to archives. So due to time factor, I think they will give you the slides, I believe. So all these principles is about access to archival materials. And digital transformation is the process of organization applying appropriate technology to drive their business process with ease. And this comes with many benefits. As you can see, I can't go through them because of time, but you can see the benefits are a lot. Digital transformation is the integration of digital technology into areas of business, fundamentally changing how you operate and deliver value to customers. So it requires many things, including change of culture, their status quo, and many other things. So if we can talk to all of them, I think the time will be won't be on our side. And it comes with many solutions to many organizational problems, such as poor production, low quality, and many more. And digital transformation needs reshaping of the mindset, because we need to buy into people who are going to be involved, including the customers. Because you can have a system and only to find that your clients are not interested on it, they are not using it, they're still knocking at your door even if you have a system. So that will be fruitless. Digital transformation, usually people contradict it with digitalization and digitisation. So the three are different, but digital transformation include both digitization and digitalization. But digitalization is about conversion of manual form of records into electronic. But looking at the digitalization is the digitalization of, electronizing the system itself. So the other one is talking about converting records, the other one is talking about converting the system. And there are many things that affect success in your transformation. Wow. So I'm sorry, digital transformation changed the mode of operation, the use of people, culture, and technology, like I said. So now, let me just quickly just go and, because I'm left with 1 minute, I'll just go to the framework, because I like the framework and I wanted you to understand how it is drafted. So I tried to illustrate how transformation can be done from being manual to electronic. So in your digital transformation, you can come up with a system, digital system that can be used for conversion of your manual mode of records into electronic archive, and then also the same system be able to digitalize preservation of your records, access and use as well. And you can embed business rules into the system so that it can work in line with legislations, and then you can benefit a lot. As you can see, I listed some benefits there for global access and use. So I think this will be presented fully when this paperwork will be published. So archives that are not accessible, they are as good as not available, because the users have no access to them. So far I can say thank you for listening and concentrating.